My first truck race since Bristol and my first NASCAR race in the office where I watched my NASCAR racing in San Antonio Spurs basketball since that painful ass Samsung Radio Shack 500 at Texas Motor Speedway, which was very stressful to watch. But this one was a hell of a lot better, I'm sure, because it was not too terrible, but it was not too crazy either, which goes to show you that sometimes you don't need 20 cautions, a dozen wrecks, and a surprise, let alone stupid, let alone interesting winner to have a good race. So, therefore, let's break it down. Corey Heim finally closed the deal and when you had the dominant truck of the night and the truck to beat. And sometimes the fastest slash dominant truck slash car will win the race. And this time he laid it on the line, belt to ass to the whole field. But at the same time, it was not too terrible. It was not too crazy. It was no, whatchamacallit. Basically, the race was smooth like Carlos Santana and Rob Thomas. It was an even balance between, good racing and at the same time, not too much of a chaotic, caution-filled mess. So we only had one caution for incident, which was Chandler Smith and the poor championship. What am I trying to say? The championship hangover continues for Ty Majeski. He and Chandler were involved in the only caution for incident that had nothing to do with the stage. I am sorry for, starting in between words as I do this voiceover because I'm rusty from doing these little race reviews because it's been a while since I watched NASCAR and we have to do it again tomorrow, early tomorrow evening for the CarQuest 300 that my boy Austin Dillon is leeching in. I'll be cheering for him, but I won't be full on celebrating if he wins compared if he won his 6th career Winston Cup race. So, therefore, just to warn you, what button, how much I changed since 2015, 16, and 17 when I was celebrating Austin's leech wins, considering younger me did not understand how bad and unhealthy leeching was sport of NASCAR. But Corey Heim deserved this win, and for once, in a race that he deserved to win, he actually closed it out. Nobody cleaned him out. He didn't get caught up in someone else's bullshit, and nobody was there to take it away from him. So there's the only caution for incident, which it was sometimes like what Dynaco Cup Series 43-42 said. Some at the Aaron 499 at Talladega when his boy Austin Cindric won. So shout out to you, my man. Sometimes a clean race is what the doctor ordered, even if it's just one singular, like Robbie Gordon incident. And bitch boy Ben, fails again. Fake ass 2-time Truck Series champion and fake Jeff Burton the same way Fraudevin Mitchell on the Crapaliers is fake Kyle Petty, even though that's a different sport. But that's a conversation and a story we're saving for another day. But all I can say, but that one good thing to we can take away from the races, I'm just glad and thank God that, Chastain and or Rowdy Bush, aka King Leach, didn't win. And it's nothing against the Crouch of Doom since he's a Chastain fan. I'm just glad none of these guys won because, leeching is unhealthy for the sport and just, takes up any chance that these Bush and Craftsman Truck Series regulars have are showing their potential. It just stinks up the show, and any of the lemmings who think otherwise is clueless and needs to be checked for brain damage. It is completely wrong. So, therefore, it's nice that we don't see too much leeching anymore like we used to. So, I'm just glad, again, that Melon Man and Rowdy did not win. Now, if Austin wins tomorrow, I'll kind of be happy, but I won't be celebrating because it doesn't mean anything compared to if you won a Winston Cup race. Just like I wouldn't be celebrating if any of my current favorite Winston Cup drivers went down to Bush or Craftsman Truck to beat up on some little kids like how Bush used to do each and every week. And if Tim Duncan went down to high school basketball and dominated from the Spurs back in the Spurs heyday, I wouldn't even be celebrating that. So congratulations to Corey Heim on finally winning a race he deserved to win. So the next race will be Nashville next Friday night, the day right before the season 5 finale, season 5 premiere. Spring is in, fun in the sun. Oh my God, I can't talk. So therefore, spring is in the air. Season 4 concludes sometime next week with weather permitting. We'll figure it out. Guess the racing guys decided it would finally be Heim Time tonight and not let anyone or anything stand in that young man's way. It's like, how is he not in a Busch Grand National ride yet? But even then, He's also, most people have said he's Winston Cup Series ready and just can skip the Busch Grand National Series altogether. If I hate to say this as a Riley Herbst fan, but if 2311 decides to dump him for underperforming, like, if he becomes another Harrison Burton, where, outside of maybe 2 or 3 decent races, he's terrible, except for when he, pulls a super speedway win out of his ass, I'll be celebrating that. But personally, with the fanboy camp on, because I don't get to celebrate anything with any of my drivers too often, but fanboy camp off, damn well it's going to take up a chase spot, and I know he's a rookie, he wouldn't be able to do anything. But if Riley Herbst does not stay in that 35 car next season, or if 2311 does not add a 4th car, which would be extremely complicated to do because this whole chartered system, no, not chartered system, this lawsuit drama, that's what I meant to say. So unless they 2311 in front row. Hey, 3 of my drivers race for those 2 teams, ironically. Riley for 2311 and Noah and Zane for front row. So now I have 2 drivers racing for front row, Zane and Noah. I'm a front row fan, a Petty fan, and an RCR fan this year with 6 drivers. And one drives for 2311. Riley Herbst. And I think, what was the other one? Ty drives a colleague, but that's an RCR affiliated team with ECR. So technically that's an RCR connected team. But yeah, Riley's the only non-RCR petty guy I root for. So therefore, yeah, it is very stressful on Sunday. But I don't want to make this video too much longer. But, congratulations to Heim again. Now let's see if he can win himself this championship. And if he doesn't win, that goes to show you the chase system in all 3. Winston, Busch, and Craftsman is completely flawed and needs a massive overhaul. So tomorrow we got the CarQuest 300 at Charlotte, 4:30. So we get to sleep in a little bit, but not go to bed too. It doesn't have to be too early, but it can't be too late either. That way we can be up in time for the Busch Grand National race. And then Sunday, we're just going to skip Monaco altogether, because the last time I tried to watch that in 2018, when I tried to do all 3 races, which I was able to watch most of Indy 500 that day with the salad for lunch, and watch the whole 600 with 2 20-ounce bottles of Coke, 2 16-ounces, and 1, 2, 3 babies. If I remember to insert the picture, I'll show it to you. But how many Cokes I had for 2018 600. So when I tried to watch Monaco in 2018, I was still just waking up, and I fell asleep and missed most of it. So I missed half the Indy 500 that year because I was still trying to wake up. But, if I'm just going to skip Monaco altogether so I can just get a good night, good morning beauty sleep. But if I'm up in time and go to bed in a timely manner tomorrow night going into Sunday, then maybe we will watch the Indy 500. And even if that happens, I don't know if I'll do a reaction video. It just depends on my mood and even if I'm in a mood to do it, it just depends how much time I'll have before the 600. But there will be a 600 race review after dark. So therefore, but if you don't see an Indy 500 video, then you'll know why, because I basically either didn't have the time for it, or just didn't feel like it, or wasn't in the mood. But so Monday we got the Spring Randomness Memorial Day edition coming. So therefore, and the Spring is in the Air season 4 finale. I wanted to mention that doesn't look too good with the weather. The weather's been crazy here in Northeast Ohio as of late. It's just, we're getting the last of the cold and rainy shit out of the way before we're smooth sailing and free game with June in like less than a week. So the season 5 premiere of Fun in the Sun is going to be Sunday, June 1st. Yeah, June 1st. And the status of Amber, Peanut Butter Lady, and Barbecue Man's daughter next door of May 31st for the F-bomb and Babe incident is permitting. So here's the plan. Here's the 2 plans we may or may not use. Only one of them is going to get used. If F-bomb and Babe, Amber Thompson Porter, happens to be coming to Sandy Ridge next Saturday, we'll do it. We'll do that comedy skit of just reenacting the incident as best we can, as a comedy skit. And we're going to be the best actors we can be, trying to relive May 31st, 2022. And since, weather's not looking good for next Friday, which was the original scheduled date for the season 4 finale, Spring is in the Air, Wednesday, my SSA and best friend, Kelly Sunseri, is coming to my work to schedule my ISP meeting. So shout out to you, Kelly. I love you, young lady, and happy early birthday to you. Yeah, I mean, you're 10 years older than me. That means you're going to be Casey Mears, 41 years old, and you don't even look like it. You look like you're still 31 to 21 years old because of how good you look for you being in your 40s. So I love you so much, bestie. I can't wait to see you on Wednesday. So that's the thing. It depends on the weather and the F-bomb and babe status herself. If she comes to Sandy Ridge, we'll do it, and we'll do the season 4 finale. Spring is in the air on Wednesday after Kelly. But if F-bomb and babe happens to not be coming to Sandy Ridge at all this Saturday, then we'll just do nothing. We'll just record nothing on Wednesday, and we'll do the season 4 finale of Spring is in the Air on the 31st on Kelly's birthday. So it just depends on the weather guides and the status of the F-bomb and babe this next weekend. So I don't know, anytime next week. So have a good night tonight and a better day tomorrow. Take care, everyone. Good night. I will see you all for that next video, which will most likely be the race review of the CarQuest Auto Parts 300 at Charlotte in the Busch Grand National Series sometime late in the day, like, late afternoon, early evening. Late afternoon, the race starts, and probably sometime early to mid-evening, we'll have a race review out. So, therefore, then the Coke 600 on Sunday night. It's going to be a Sunday night endurance, which is probably going to the race review is going to get recorded overnight. And then it's probably going to get scheduled for Monday morning Memorial Day upload before we go out in Sandy Ridge. And, we'll probably... I'll have to figure out the scheduling because, it's either going to be late Saturday night, the CarQuest 300 review is going up, or we're probably, if we want to record an Indy 500 race review, the best we can do is schedule the CarQuest 300 review early Sunday morning when Monaco's on. But we'll figure something out one way or another. But I need to get off this thing so we can get ready for bed in the time minutes so we can watch tomorrow's race in the CarQuest 300 and cheer for Austin, even though I will not be going full on celebration mode if he wins. That's leeching, and they'll try telling that to 21, 22, and 23-year-old me who would celebrate Austin Dillon Leach wins in 2015, 16, and 17 because I did not fully understand how bad that was for the sport. But now that I'm older and a lot different person and much more mature and grown up now, I do understand, because when you're young like that, like I was back in those days, there are some things you don't understand then that you understand now as you get older and grow up to be a responsible, mature adult. So, therefore, I understand the negativity negative impact on leaching in NASCAR, or what they used to call it, bushwhacking. At least back then, it was normal to the point where, the regulars still had a chance at the championship. But remember from sometime around the mid to late 2000s to early 2010s, the Busch Grand National Series did suck because all the full-time Cup drivers that had already proved themselves in that series were taking up championships that belonged to regulars. And, that's why most people don't like leaching, because there's a lot of Winston Cup drivers that already proved themselves in Busch and Craftsman truck, when they were going up to the links many years ago, that they don't need to go back and beat up on young kids or trying to do the same like they did, considering Kyle Busch, Ross Chastain, Austin Dillon, Justin Dillon, they already proved themselves in those series when they were coming up to the ranks before they were full-time Winston Cup rookies for their first year. So there's no need to go back to the lower series and become the second coming of Dale Sr., Richard Petty, Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson, the Busch and Craftsman Truck Series, and stink up the show to the point where, you got really nothing left to prove down there. Just focus on your own series. But I'm glad they limited the amount of starts a Winston Cup driver can make in Busch and Craftsman Truck. And they made a rule saying you get to pick what series you want to run for points in. If you pick one series to run for points in, you can't run for points in the other, even if we let you make starts in that. So hopefully it comes to a point one day where Winston Cup drivers are not allowed to race in the Busch and Craftsman Truck Series, at all. Will they ever do that? Possibly not, but a man can dream. But anyway, time to cut the video off right there. I made it a little longer than it needed to be, but Congratulations to Corey Heim on winning a race he deserved to win, where it was finally Heim Time, and I can't believe I'm doing the pose. Okay, we're fucking done now, so see you all tomorrow for the CarQuest 300 Busch Grand National race at 4:30 for when we do the race review tomorrow evening, which will probably be late upload tomorrow night, or scheduled for a Sunday morning upload. So see you later, everyone.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our fans for your support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.